This is how to build around Jonathan Taylor in fantasy football. Now, Taylor should be going at the end of the first round, but even if you get him at the beginning of the second round, that's extreme value for a guy that's almost a surefire thing to finish as a top 5 running back in fantasy football. He needs to remain healthy. Now, that has been a concern. That is probably why he's falling a little bit. But Shane Steichen made Miles Sanders look like an excellent running back, like top 10 in the NFL. What do you think he's going to do with Jonathan Taylor? By the way, he's still only 25, and he finished as the RB1 just a few seasons ago. I think he has one more season, 2 more seasons where he can finish as the RB1 or 2. I think this year is one of them. And then with the second round pick, this is who I had available in this mock. I had Taylor at the 110. Garrett Wilson's unlikely going to be there at the 2-3, so let's count him out, right? So you probably have Marvin Harrison there instead of him. That's probably the option, even though he's a rookie. I think there's a ton of upside there as the wide receiver 1 on a Cardinals team that's going to pass the football a little bit more this season. Adams, I stay away from. London, it's a little bit of a reach at that 2-3 because he will be available a few picks later than that, but I don't hate that. And you could also double up on running back if Jahmyr Gibbs falls to you here. Because in round 3 to 4, we can get elite value on wide receivers. Look at this. You can take Jalen Waddle there and then Cooper Kupp, or Malik Nabers and Cooper Kupp, or Waddle and Nabers, right? Like there's a ton of options there at that wide receiver position, which is why it's not horrible to double up in the first 2 rounds in RB if you have a late first round pick. Now I know it's a cardinal sin to a lot of fantasy football creators on here to go running back with the first 2 picks, but at the 1-1 you have to with McCaffrey, and then you got to go Etienne or Henry in the second round. I'm not so sure there's a huge discrepancy between CMC and Henry and, let's say, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jonathan Taylor with the first 2 picks. You could still get those elite wide receivers in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. And you can keep going on wide receivers. Like I mentioned, here I took Christian Kirk in the 5th round, right? Like I love Christian Kirk, was the wide receiver 12 a few seasons ago when he was the wide receiver 1 on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 for this team this season and finishes a top 12 wide receiver. He has an easy floor and a really high ceiling as well. So let's say you go RB, then 3 straight wide receivers. So you have 2 elite RBs, you have 3 really, really good wide receivers, including maybe Cooper Kupp, who I think could finish as the top 5 wide receiver and is the best value of any pick in the entire draft in round 3 or 4. So now you can go tight end with Evan Ingram, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Kincaid, one of those guys, or you can go quarterback. Now it is a bit high, but Anthony Richardson, having him with Jonathan Taylor is very tantalizing. I think Richardson has a breakout season. Obviously, he will steal away some touchdowns from Taylor, but if you have them both on your team, this is an offense that I think is going to be way better than people think, and the Colts are going to be a wagon this season in fantasy football, especially with Richardson and Taylor. So you could go there, or you could go Evan Ingram, Pitts, Kincaid, or even a David Montgomery, Zamir White, but you could probably wait a pick, get him in round 7, Zamir White, and go quarterback here with Anthony Richardson. And if you do that the rest of the way, it's all about depth, right? Finding value. I like Gus Edwards in round 10. I like Tyjae Spears in round 9, 10. I like Blake Corum in round 10, 11. Like I think he has a pretty substantial snap share for a rookie despite having Kyron there. And even if you wait on quarterback, you can get a Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, even a Matt Stafford, Jared Goff. Guys like that are super late. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. I know he's hurt, but you can get guys like that later is my point. And you can find value like high upside rookies, Troy Franklin, Tyrone Tracy, Xavier Legette, guys like that later, or guys that are supposed to have a pretty substantial role next season in Josh Palmer, Jacoby Myers. You can find value late. So it's all about acing those 6, 7 first picks, right? And building a good base, a good core, and you can get the steals late. So make sure you follow me for more fantasy football content. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Check out Autograph, link in my bio, code Deutsch. And look, also my fantasy football guide is also in my link, so check that out as well.